The Nican Mopohua.
Part 1, verses 1 through 48. Juan Diego is called by Our Lady of Guadalupe. In this first episode, we journey into the sacred hills of Tepeyac and the miraculous events that transformed a humble man, Juan Diego, into the bearer of a divine message that changed the continent.
Here is told and set in order the account of how not long ago the perfect Virgin, Holy Mary, Mother of God, our Queen, miraculously appeared on the hill of Tepeyac, later known as Guadalupe. First, she revealed herself to an Indian named Juan Diego, a humble man yet worthy of respect, and then her precious and beloved image appeared before the newly appointed bishop, Don Fray Juan de Zumarraga. It was 10 years after the conquest of the waters, mountains, and the city of Mexico, when the arrows and shields had been laid aside, and peace reigned over the towns, their waters, and their mountains. Faith, like a budding flower, now began to flourish, its corolla opening to the knowledge of the giver of life, the true God. In those days, in the early part of December, there was a man named Juan Diego, a Masewal, a humble member of the common people. He lived in Cuautitlan, and in all matters of God, was closely connected to Tlatelolco. One Saturday before dawn, he set out in pursuit of God and His commandments. As he approached the little hill called Tepeyac, the first light of day began to brighten the sky. On the hill, he heard the sound of singing, like the songs of many precious birds. Their melodies were so sweet and delightful that when they paused, it seemed as though the hill itself echoed in response. These songs surpassed even the beauty of the Coyoltotopl and the Tzinitzcan, birds of the finest song. Juan Diego stopped to listen and thought to himself,
"Am I worthy of what I hear? Have I deserved this? Or am I only dreaming? Am I dozing? Where am I? Where do I find myself? Could this be the place our ancestors spoke of? The land of flowers, the land of corn, our sustenance, perhaps even the land of heaven."
Looking toward the top of the hill, in the direction of the sunrise and the heavenly song, he saw a light. Then, suddenly, the singing ceased, and he heard a voice calling him from the summit.
"Dear Juan, dearest Juan Diego."
Without fear and filled with joy, he climbed the hill toward the voice. When he reached the summit, he saw a maiden standing there. She beckoned him closer. As he approached, he was filled with awe at her perfect grandeur, which surpassed anything imaginable. Her garments shone like the sun, radiating waves of light, and the stones beneath her feet glimmered like precious jewels. The earth itself seemed to glow with the brilliance of a rainbow in the mist. The mesquites, prickly pears, and other plants on the hill seemed adorned with quetzal feathers, their leaves like turquoise, their branches and thorns shining like gold. Overwhelmed, he prostrated himself before her and listened to her noble and gentle words, which drew him closer with love. She spoke.
"Listen, my son, my youngest son, Juanito. Where are you going?"
And he replied,
"My lady, my queen, my little girl, I am on my way to your house in Mexico, Tlatelolco, to attend the things of God that are taught to us by His servants, our priests."
The maiden revealed her will to him, saying,
"Know, my dearest and youngest son, that I am truly the ever-perfect Holy Virgin Mary, who has the honor of being the mother of the one true God for whom we all live, the Creator of all people, the Lord of what is near and far, the Lord of heaven and earth. I greatly desire that a sacred little house be built here for me, where I will show Him, exalt Him, and make Him manifest. I will give Him to all people through my love, my compassionate gaze, my help, and my salvation. For I am truly your compassionate mother, yours and that of all people who live in this land, and of all others who love me, call upon me, seek me, and trust in me. Here I will listen to their weeping, their sorrow, and offer them comfort and relief in their troubles, miseries, and pains. To bring this about, go to the palace of the Bishop of Mexico and tell him that I have sent you. Reveal to him that it is my great desire for him to build me a temple here on this plain. Tell him everything you have seen and heard and marvel at. Know, my son, that I will greatly appreciate your efforts and reward your labors. I will enrich you and glorify you for this service. Now, my dearest son, you have heard my words. Go and do as I have asked.
Prostrating himself again, Juan Diego said to her,
My lady, my little girl, I am now going to carry out your venerable words. I leave you now, your humble servant.
Then Juan Diego came down the hill to carry out her request. He took the main road and went directly to Mexico City. Upon arriving at the heart of the city, he headed straight to the bishop's palace, the residence of the governing priest, Don Fray Juan de Zumarraga, a Franciscan who had only recently taken his post. When Juan Diego arrived, he asked the servants and assistants to announce him to the bishop, pleading for an audience. After much waiting, the bishop finally summoned him. As soon as Juan Diego entered, he knelt in reverence before the bishop and humbly shared everything, the sacred message of the Queen of Heaven, the wondrous vision he had seen, and the extraordinary words he had heard. The bishop listened carefully, but remained skeptical. After hearing the entire account, he replied,
My son, return another time. I will listen again with calm and consider your story from the beginning. I need time to reflect on your request and understand your intentions.
Juan Diego left the palace feeling sorrowful that his mission had not been accepted. As the day ended, he returned to the hill where the Queen of Heaven had appeared to him, and there she was, waiting for him at the same spot.
The Nican Mopohua is brought to you by Juan Diego Network, featuring an original translation and adaptation of the text for the English language. Thank you for listening.